Hello everyone, welcome back to another Space Engineers Survival Guide tutorial. Well, um, so today I'm going to be doing a stream rather than uh, just a normal video as I normally do. That if any of you are like online at this moment, you can come in and ask me some questions and I'll be able to answer them. So I tell me what you think about this, because this does mean that the video will be a lot longer. Won't be any edits, but it does allow you guys to ask questions while I'm playing. So again, if you have any questions, just say in the live chat or comment down below, and I'll be able to see. So yeah, let's get started. So today we'll be building a rover and figuring out how to connect us up to our base. We need to somehow do that. Let's just get the chat overlay. Okay, so let's just get started. So we're gonna be building a rover. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just grab some steel plates. So I've mined a ton of ore. The first thing I want to do is mine a ton of ore, especially iron. And I've got quite a lot. I've got like 8k iron, which will be loads for this. And just gonna grab some steel plates, also some interior plates, and construction components. So those three items are the items that you need to place grids of blocks. You won't need anything else, so we're just going to use those for the time being. So we're just going to start off by placing a single large armor block frame there. Oops. Ah, God. Sorry, I'm just using that for camera tools. So now, so you just place the frame. And we can probably, so I'm going to source a hotbar up for this. So you're going to want your welder, your grinder. You'll also want landing gear, which is somewhere here. There you go. Then you'll also want the cockpit, the O2 H2 generator, which is somewhere here. Again, guys, this is because I don't have any edits, so this is a bit more casual than normal. So I have a medium cargo container, and I will also want some wheels and gyroscopes, and last but not least a connector, which I think I might have. No? Okay, we're going to need to make a connector, so just going to go to that. Okay, so I'm going to need to make a conveyor for that, which will be fine. I can do that while we're on the job just here. Okay. So I'm just going to use the conveyor real quick, just a small one. Weld this up. This is just to unlock a part. Okay, I just need a motor. So if you want to take out a certain amount of items from a container, you just hold right click and drag it, and then you can select the amount. So I'm just going to go one, and then I can just weld it and grind it, and I've unlocked the thing. So now I can grab the connector, which is just right there, and now I'm going to place a landing gear. So we're just going to, so when you first look at we're going to place it on top of the armor block. And when you first look at it, it'll be like a huge landing gear. You just press the same button that you assigned it to again, and that will just put it there. And that will just change the size of it. So there's two sizes of grids in Space Engineers. There's large grids, like our base, and then there's small grids, like our lander, and also the rover that we're about to build. Large grids are much more expensive, but there's a lot more blocks that you can place on them, and also you can put stuff like refineries and other things on them. You can also walk around in large grids, whereas generally you can't with small grids. Well, say that you have like a large ship, then you can do a walk around of it. Soon I'll do some guides on like building ships in creative and things for you ship builders out there. So here's our landing gear. I'm just gonna get some light armor. See if I can get this stream shut up yet. Okay, here we go. Okay, so, oh hi V Raptor. Okay. So I'm just going to oh, and he's left. So I'm just going to place some light armor blocks down. So I'm going to build a pretty long thing of light armor blocks here. So these small light armor blocks, they're only one block. So they're only one steel plate. So if you place one, it costs one steel plate, and to weld it, it still only costs one steel plate. So I'm just going to build this and build. I'm going to build out 3 blocks for each wheel. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So now that we've got our basic frame, I'm just going to weld this up with our welder. I would normally speed this up, but since it's a stream, again, I can't, so yeah. The point is that I'll be able to get these out more. I'm also able to make streams much more quickly than videos, but again, they're not edited. Editing is what takes a long time. So, yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to finish off the frame. Okay. Okay, so just these. It doesn't actually cost you anything to weld these up. They're basically free. It just costs you to place. It costs you 1 steel plate per block of these, like placing a frame of a large steel plate block. And next we're going to do the wheels. So I'm just going to slap these on the sides. So these are actually pretty interesting. When I click on, so you place the wheel with the wider part facing the ground. And it actually places this other thing, so we have to weld both of these pieces up for the wheel to work. The inner piece is the suspension, it's what lets it turn, and the outer piece is the actual wheel that moves and spins. So, there we go. So, now that we've done that, we're just going to, we're not going to weld these up yet, we're just going to leave them for a minute. So the next thing we're going to place our cockpit, which is we're just going to slap it on the front here. So I'm going to use one of my favourite Rover designs for early game. So the cockpit has 2 small ports on the back of it. So now we're dealing with small conveyors, not just on large grids. You just have one size of conveyors. Now you have multiple sizes. So we're mostly going to be dealing with small conveyors during this build. So what we're going to do, the perfect fit for the cockpit is the O2H2 generator, so I'm just going to flip that around so that they're facing the same way, and then click that on there. And it also has a large conveyor port at the back, which we're going to use in a minute. So what I like doing generally is, rather than having a flat out design just going straight to the back like most people I prefer having containers going off to the sides. This stops it flipping because it's more weighted down. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to look for the large conveyor tube, and I'm going to change it so that I get the conveyor junction, which I'm then going to change again so that I get it like that, and then I'm just going to throw it down in the middle like that. And this doesn't hold anything. Again, conveyors, they only transport things to places. They don't actually hold anything by themselves. So this is purely a junction just to get to our cargo containers. So I'm going to weld this up, and I need small steel tubes and motors. So I'm going to need to, well, actually, I guess I don't need to weld this up yet. Next thing is we're going to slap some medium cargo containers on the side of this. So I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3 cargo containers. And then at the very back, I'm going to add a large battery. I'll go there. Okay, and that's probably enough for now. So I'm going to weld all this stuff up. So, we'll just sort of spend myself. Okay. So I'm just going to grab the components and weld these up. I'm sure you can probably figure out how to do this by now. So actually, when you start welding, as soon as you touch your welder off the thing, it adds all the components that you have that it needs. So even if you just tap the welder off it, even without welding the actual full thing up, it puts your components into the thing. So you can see my inventory greatly decreases each time I tap something with my welder, essentially. Right. There you go. 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 Essentially, all of these I've just sort of tapped now. So these all pretty much all have steel plates and construction components and everything else. Apart from these. Ah, okay. So I'm just going to grab some more steel plates from our assembler. So once again, guys, just tell me what you think of the streaming idea for these guys. I don't know if I'm going to do it again. I might not. So yeah, just tell me below what you think. Later on I'll put links to just skip these parts, like, that are just welding and stuff, so that you don't have to, watch through them all, or look for where it ends. Okay, so I'll just do some interior plates. Okay, there we go. So, I'm just gonna, tap each of these, they've already been done. Boop, boop, boop. I think I might have missed out on a few things though here. These. Ah, I need a lot of interior. You need a lot of interior plates for these cargo containers. Okay. Tap, 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 and yeah, okay, so we sort of tapped everything now. So everything has steel plates, construction components, and interior plates, so I'm just going to throw these back now. We don't need them anymore. Now I'm going to grab motors, computers. Again, I'm just going to make quite a few of everything. Yeah, I've got plenty of silicon. I went down to the ice lake and mined some off camera. Yeah, I've just decided to save the hassle and just mine it without videoing, because you guys probably know how to do it by now. So the very next thing is the oh yeah, we're gonna need some girders. I think I have motors. Yeah, I have motors. And yeah, we're just gonna grab some of these. Also, I'm going to grab some displays. Just gonna grab plenty of displays for stuff. And also, lastly, actually that's it. Okay. So I generally weld stuff up like this. So first of all I put on like steel plates and construction components and also interior plates. Then I add on computer components, so motors, computers, and displays. And then finally add on stuff like steel tubes and other things just to finish it off. So again, I'm just going to go over these and tap, 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 tap. I think I've already, yeah, these don't need anything, so I don't need to do those. Yeah, okay, so I think I've got everything. Also, next thing I'm going to do is just add some gyros onto the bottom. I think I've already got some. I need steel plates. I'll do that next. So the last thing, we're going to just need some small steel tubes, which we can now produce with our basic assembler. Some large steel tubes, some metal grids, and also I'll need some other stuff in a minute, but not yet. Okay, here we go. So again, I'm just going to go to each of these. Tap. Ah, these need motors. Okay, I'm just going to leave those in there. Got these. Tap. I can probably do all of these. Okay, so these I can now bring the full way. I'm just going to tap, And, yeah. So now, let's just throw our motors back. And once more pick up the large steel tubes. And let's get welding. So, tap. Bop. And bop. Boop. Them, just on the one conveyor. Okay. I'm going to completely do the wheels. So later on you'll also be learning how to use the ship panels to change values of ships components, and power management and things like that. So in the next episode as well, we're going to be learning how to connect this rover up to the base to charge it. For now we're just going to be using the power that starts off in the battery of the rover. We're not going to be able to connect it up to the base yet, that'll take a bit more effort. So we're going to have to actually build a platform out on the base to park the rover, and then we'll have to build a connector to the rover to connect it up. So I'm just going to weld up this. I'll pull these. Also, I'll probably just do a quick little tutorial guide soon on how you can, like, play and join your friends. It's pretty simple. You can even host your own worlds if you feel like it. So yeah, it's pretty cool. The next thing is just power cells for the battery and bulletproof glass for the cockpit, and then we're done with this part of the rover. So I'm just going to grab some bulletproof glass. And also some batteries. So again, having a cargo container really helps out with building. Although you will need cobalt to make a large block one. You don't need to have cobalt to make the small block ones, as they do not need metal grids. But having a cargo container around just really helps with these builds, especially large block ones, as they can hold larger items. Or just a medium or large cargo container for small grids. So I'm just going to grab these and weld up the front section. Oh, I need more bulletproof glass. There we go. Some things in the assembler they finish like being built really quickly, but other things take a long time, such as battery cells, which is what I'm using now to weld this up. Okay, so now our rover has its actual power, but we're missing a lot of its systems that'll be very important. So, one of the most important things is gyroscopes, which is gyro, if you just get that. We're going to need some in case the rover flips over, we're going to need some to flip the rover back over. So I'm just going to grab some steel plates, structure components, motors, computers, just sort of everything that you might need for it. And also I think I need a single large steel tube. I might need two, in fact, because making two. I'd say, well, depending on the size of your rover, you'll need a different amount of gyroscopes. I'd say two for something this size. So I'm just going to stick them on these ports here. They don't need a connection to a port, they can just be stuck anywhere, like a battery or anything else. So, yeah, I'm just going to throw these on. Okay, I need some more plates. And apart from that, I'm done this bit. And I might add some extra small batteries on, which are from the new update. So before, these were the only battery size that you could get for small grids. These large block batteries. So this should be welded. And this guy. Okay, so now he's done. So you can't actually place wind turbines on small grids, so we're going to need to charge it off the base. And I'll show you how to do that in the next episode. But for now, we're just going to use the power that comes in the batteries by default. So the next thing I'm going to grab is some small batteries and just attach them somewhere, wherever I feel like, honestly. Wherever you feel like. Just stick them wherever you want. I'm going to take 6 on this one. Just gonna need some more plates again. Sometimes building in Space Engineers gets really arduous, especially if it's a large ship, like some sort of like mobile base sort of thing. It can take hours at a time. Maybe even, like, honestly, some ships have had to build over multiple weeks even. Especially in survival, they take ages. I'm gonna need some small power cells. So the small batteries don't need as many power cells as the large ones, but you still need quite a few. Okay. Something. So these new small batteries, they're really good for rovers because they're not really good for ships. They basically give no charge if it's a ship. Well, no charge relative to what the ship needs. But they're really useful for rovers because rovers don't use much power compared to ships. So I know that Splitsy, who's basically one of the he basically makes tutorials for space engineers, and he's a pretty big space engineers YouTuber. So I saw some of his survival guides for this new version. He made a mining ship basically on a second episode. That's a pretty cool idea, but I'm just sort of trying to go from like this point of a new player. That's probably, if you wanted to advance really quickly, you'd probably do that. Like if I'm doing a speed run, I would probably do that. But if you're just starting out, honestly, a rover is better, because if you make a ship straight away, you're constantly having to manage power. Also, in the next episode, we also extend our wind turbine farm, because 2 is not enough at the moment, especially not if we're trying to charge the rover off it while doing other stuff like using the refinery. So yeah, we're going to kind of expand it so that we can charge the rover fast and also use the refinery at the same time, possibly. Power cells. Okay. I'm not sure why there's the noise of rover wheels in the background. Maybe these are just a bit buggy. Honestly, wheels are quite buggy, so yeah, try and not get yourself squished under a car. It doesn't end well. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to hop into our rover's cockpit, and go into this. Turn all our wheels. We're going to we're going to select all our wheels by clicking on the top one, holding shift, clicking on the bottom one, and then we're going to go up to the top right up here and say we're going to change the block group to rover wheels. So now when you click save, this block group is saved to just that, so now you can click on that and it selects all of them. So we're just going to change the height offset, that's good. I'm going to change the speed limit to something a bit lower, maybe 100-ish. You don't want to put your speed limit to unlimited. Also, I'm going to put the strength up to 30. I'm going to put the power, yeah, 60 is fine actually, maybe 50. Actually 60, yeah. So this is just setting up wheels. I generally go with this for the Earth planet, this setup. I'll just give you a second just to look at it. Just pause the video here if you want to copy that. Okay, so I'm ready to move on. So what you want to do before getting out of your cockpit, you just want to hit P. That locks the handbrake on. So now we're going to just quickly grind both keys. Okay. And hopefully not get crushed by a falling car. Okay, so now our car is separated from the block, and it's down here, but it's missing a few of its most important components, which is the ore detector and the antenna to transmit it to your suit. So this rover is made for scouting. We're designing this rover purely to scout ore, and then we're going to mine it by hand. Later on we'll make a mining ship that can mine by itself, but we'll need to get some more stuff for that. So I'm just going to weld this up. Now we're going to need a detector component. We can actually just make these using the basic assembler with nothing but iron and nickel, but I think we already have one off the lander, so yeah, we're just going to use this. Also going to grab these radio in a minute. It's quite heavy. So I'm just going to weld this up. And that's done. So I'll set that up in a minute. And next we're going to place an antenna, which will let us transmit it to our suit. Bless this. So here's the antenna. I'm gonna weld this up. So we're gonna need some stuff for it. So I'm just gonna grab that and yeah, we're almost done now. Okay, I'm gonna need to offload some stuff. Okay, there we go. So now we've finished our antenna. Okay, so now the rover is scanning for ores. So you can see it's already found cobalt and iron. So this has a much longer range than the drill, so it'll really help us. Also, it'll let us get around, and because of the O2H2 generator that I've built on it, it'll even let us top up our jetpack fuel by sitting in the cockpit while we're on long drives. Later on I might install a survival kit on this so that we can respawn at it, but for now we can just leave it like this. So as you can see, when I unlock my landing gear, unlock my my wheels, my handbrake by pressing P, we can drive back and forth. Actually, this is quite strong. I'm going to change the wheels again. Okay, so I'm just going to turn the rover wheels power down to, I think, 35-ish. We don't really need loads of power for it. Yeah, that's fine. So you can see we can drive back and forth and turn using A and D, and it's all pretty cool. Now, rovers and space engineers, try and not flip them over because it's a real pain if you do. Okay, so you can see our gyroscopes are working as well, so we can move back and forth. So you can see that it says 8 hours, but whenever I move forward, it goes down to 1 hour, about. So I'm just going to put the brakes on for a second. You can also press, so rover controls, you can just use WASD to move around, it's space to brake, and P is handbrake on and off. And other than that, there's not much else to it. That's different from moving around normally. And so the ore detector I'm going to change so that it reaches 50 meters, which is much further. So now we can see the nickel over there as well. Although often it does scan a bit further than whatever it says on the thing. And also our antenna, we're just going to change that down to, I'd say, 1,000 meters, because the point of the antenna, in fact, if we go on the ore detector, I can check it if it's doing this. Okay, so now when we get out of the car, we can see where all the ore is. That's because of the antenna. If we didn't have the antenna, that wouldn't happen. Also, I'm going to make a group for the gyroscopes. Rover gyros. And we can toggle those on and off. So you can just get into the rover and then hit G. This brings up a list of toolbar items. So then we're just going to go to groups, find rover gyros, toggle block on and off. Also, we're going to get all our batteries, which is just this, and we're going to set this to batteries, rover batteries. Sorry. Don't set, if you see, the problem is with groups, if you say have a mining ship with a group called batteries, then you dock it to a base with a group called batteries, then those two groups will merge. So I always go like rover batteries or miner batteries, or if we have multiple miners, miner 1 batteries, miner 2 batteries, etc. So here we go, just going again. Okay, so back in the rover, hold on. Okay, so the so the rover's pretty cool. So we can drive it around and scan for ore. So this will only have 1 hour's driving time by itself, but in the next episode we're going to plug it into the base and watch it charge. I'm going to teach you how to do that, which is why we made the battery group. So what I'm going to do, find batteries in the group, and I'm going to do recharge on off there. So I can toggle those on to recharge whenever. So say that I'm just got the rover parked and I don't want to use it for anything, just put the handbrake on and turn those on to recharge. It'll basically power off the whole rover. You can even hit Y if you want to. So Y on a ship is power on off. You can just hit that to power everything on and off. But if you just want the batteries to, if you just want it to be like that, you can, or else you could just use Y to power off the whole thing. So that's cool. Also, next thing we're going to do is just grab some ice from here and just stick it into the oxygen generator so that we can top up our... I'm just going to take 1,000. You could go down and get loads of ice in the rover soon. I messed up with this? Uh-oh. Wait. No, that's fine. So then, why can I not? What? That's weird. Oh, it's because the ship isn't powered on. Okay, so with the ships, you have to have them powered on to be able to move items between, like, cargo containers and connectors and things. So I'm just gonna run over to the side here and not stick my ice into the generator. So that's gonna start generating. So it'll use a tiny bit of ice, so the cockpit is actually a pressurized space. So even in space, you'll be able to get air in here with your helmet off, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's the Rover, and it will help us a lot with scouting for ore. So in the next episode, I'm going to tell you how to charge it, and then we're going to do some ore runs with it, try and find some ore, maybe go exploring a bit. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do after that. Honestly, past a certain point, Space Engineers just becomes like a sort of do whatever you want sort of game, even after the new update. Still, even though they have added progression, I mean, it's still not amazing. So it's still not like a progressive game. You could try doing some of the challenge scenarios. Also, I'll show you how to mod the game to make it a bit more interesting if you're getting bored. Also, you can check out creative mode, build ships, share them on the Steam Workshop, download other people's ships off the Steam Workshop. I'll show you how to do all of that stuff. So the base is all okay. The Rover's cool. So yeah, I think it's a good point to finish up. Yeah. So that's it for today. I'm just gonna walk back here and have a thumbnail. Okay. Okay, there's the thumbnail. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. Just please subscribe and like, and be sure to comment what you think about this stream idea, and also if you want to see us any more. Also, just comment if you have any questions or anything like that. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say. So, see you next time. Stay safe. Keep engineering.